tapped harmonics. I'll play an example so you can see what I mean, and then I'll talk about a little bit more about them and explain how to play them. I'll play a couple of phrases from a solo that I've been practicing for my own enjoyment at the moment. Both these phrases end with a tapped harmonic at the end of the phrase, so you'll be able to clearly see what it is and hear what it sounds like, and then we'll talk about it some more. So these couple of phrases containing, listen for it at the end of the phrase, a tapped harmonic. Clearly hear that one. Another one. Very clearly hear that one. So, what is a tapped harmonic? It's basically, if you've seen the other videos I've done on harmonics, it's a natural harmonic, and we're going to play it using our normal picking hand. So that's where the tapped harmonic comes from. So it's a combination of two techniques. It's a natural harmonic and two-handed tapping. So I've covered both those in videos. I'll put links down below. If you're not capable of doing those two things, then I'd probably suggest having a look at those before carrying on with the tapped harmonics, because otherwise you're trying to learn too much at once. Get those techniques sorted first, and then we'll carry on. So what is a tapped harmonic? As I said, it's an extension of your natural harmonic. So if you've seen the other video, those are your natural harmonics, the one where you just a bit of light pressure on the string and picking it to sound the actual harmonics. That's the natural harmonic technique. The other technique I talked about is the two-handed tapping technique. So it was one of the things I did in the two-handed tapping video. So I combine those together, and we're using our non-fretting hand, our picking hand, to sound the harmonics once we've already played the note. In the pieces that I played at the start, in those couple of phrases, the actual harmonic was, well, it was an E basically. The note that I picked was an E on my G string. For both of the examples, it was that note. And to sound the harmonic, what I did was tap on just above the fret, 12 frets higher. So the note that I'm playing there is on the 9th fret, 12 frets, 9 plus 12 is 21. So once I've picked that note, I'm going to tap, just lightly, just touch, on 21st fret to sound that harmonic. If you remember from the technique of producing the natural harmonics, we're not looking to push the string down onto the fretboard. We just want to touch it. I think the example I gave was you tested if something's hot or not, a pan on the stove or something like that. You're not going to keep your hand on it, you're just going to slightly touch it. So that's the technique we want to be using. Same again with the harmonics, where we're not looking to touch in our perfect fretting position. Normally we want to be, if we're fretting a note, we want to be just tucked in nicely behind the fret there. We don't want to be behind the fret when we're tapping a harmonic. We want to be above the fret, so we're aiming to be directly above the metal fret. So it's the same techniques that we've looked at before in the natural harmonics lesson, and also combining that with the two-handed approach. Obviously we're always using two hands, but it's called a two-handed approach when we're playing notes rather than picking using this hand. So to get you started, I've produced a little exercise. This probably is going to be suitable for electric guitars only, I would say, just because the fretboard goes up a lot higher on electric guitars. If you consider the phrases that I've just played, I started playing the note on the 9th fret and tapping up on the 21st fret. Your acoustic guitar is not really going to go up that high. Obviously you've got your 9th fret, but you're probably not going to have 21 frets on your acoustic guitar. You could probably still do it, but you wouldn't know where to aim for because the frets just don't go up that high. So this is probably, I would say, rules are to be broken, but I would say this is more of an electric guitar technique. So I'll give you an exercise, and I've produced a little fretboard diagram, something for you to have a look at. I'll include the link for that for you to download it as well. So what I've done is basically I've charted out a pentatonic scale, an A minor pentatonic scale in position 5. If you've seen my videos on lead guitar, you'll be familiar with that. So an A minor pentatonic scale. In position 5. Now, I don't want to get into the theory, but that same scale can be played an octave higher, move it up 12 frets, an octave higher, and that's going to be up top in position 17. So 5 plus 12 is 17. So the same scale, one octave higher. Same A minor pentatonic scale. So rather than playing it up top, up there, at the octave, we're going to use that same positioning as a reference for where we're going to tap for it. So on the diagram, I've notated your basic 5th position scale in blue. So the notes that you're going to play are in blue. And so forth. I've also notated it up at 17th position in red, and that means that you're going to not play them but tap them. What I mean is this. So the first note of the scale is going to be there, the A. So I'm going to play that note, and then I'm going to tap up 12 frets higher, which happens to be 17th fret. I'm going to do the same for every note of the scale. So my next note is going to be there. It's the 8th fret on where I pick it. Add 12 to that, it's going to be 20th fret. Next note, down to my A string, it's going to be my 5th fret. Add my 12 to that, it's going to be back up to 17. Next note. And play your way through the scale using that same principle. Pick the blue note, tap the red note, and that'll give you practice across a basic pentatonic scale of tapping these harmonics. So I'll play it through. So that's all the notes duplicated using tapped harmonics. It's all about your touch and your technique. The scale's fairly simple. The reason I chose that one is because I've done it before, so if you've been watching my video you'll be familiar with it. Move it around any position, but the thing to remember is when you tap, you're going to be 12 frets higher than the note that you play. I could start down at my 3rd fret if I wanted to and play 12 frets higher, which would make it my 15th fret, so I'll pick the 3rd fret and then tap on the 15th. Makes no difference, just add 12 to whichever fret of note you're playing, and that's where you tap the harmonic. Once you get more used to it, you can work them into, when you're playing runs and things like I showed you on the 2 examples at the start. You can even bend notes once you've tapped the harmonic, so back to the original E that I played, if I want to, I can play that and then bend it, which will sound even doubly cool. But tapped harmonics, have a go, have a practice. I'll include the exercise that I've just talked about, and I'll include the links to the other lessons for the tapping and for the normal natural harmonics. Enjoy.